Hello and welcome to episode 11 from Irish Skies Pod. And in this episode, with permission from AirNav Ireland, I'm on home turf as we're permitted into the Shannon En route Air Traffic Control Centre, which provides ATC service in an area just on 500,000 square kilometres. In this episode, we'll explore the various functions within the centre, how the airspace is managed, and observing a live sector, we look at the various tools that are available to the controllers. This centre opened in 2004, moving away from the old centre below the tower, and last year in 2024, over 500,000 aircraft entered the Shannon upper airspace and over 105,000 aircraft entered the Shannon lower airspace. These flights in the lower airspace were roughly divided 50,000 arrival and departures from Shannon, Cork, Donegal, Sligo, Knock, Kerry and Waterford, and another 50,000 arriving or departing from Dublin. 5 mile separation is applied throughout the airspace, except for small areas to the west of 14 West and below flight level 295. We have multiple radar heads at Donegal, Mayo, Shannon, West Cork, Cork Airport and Dublin, as well as supplementary feeds from Scotland and France. The controller screen will update from the bottom to the top every 5 seconds. A large proportion of our traffic is transatlantic, and how the traffic presents to us each day is very dependent, literally, on how the wind blows. As both eastbound and westbound, the airlines, using the various weather systems, are trying to find the most efficient route with as little turbulence as possible. We also work a large volume of north-south traffic from Ireland, Northern England, Scotland, Iceland and Scandinavia, heading year-round to the sun destinations in Spain, Portugal and the Canary Islands. To match these ever-shifting traffic patterns, the airspace must be very flexible. And so the upper airspace is divided into 66 lateral and vertical system sectors, which can be allocated in hundreds of different combinations to ensure an even spread of traffic and complexity. It also means that the controllers need to be very flexible, and all controllers are rated across all sectors and therefore must know the interface procedures with each of the centres surrounding us. The Shanwick name is an amalgam of Shannon and Prestwick control, as when transatlantic flights commenced in the 1930s, both Shannon and Prestwick had joint control over the oceanic airspace. Shannon, in coordination with Prestwick, would issue the oceanic clearance to traffic entering the ocean from the Shannon FIR, and Prestwick, in coordination, would issue the oceanic clearance to all other traffic. However, a bilateral agreement between the Irish and British governments meant that from 1966 onwards, Ireland will provide the HF communication service and Scotland will provide the ATC service. The Irish HF station is located 6 kilometres north of the airport at Ballygreen and operates under the Shanwick radio name, and the Oceanic ATC is based at Prestwick. Anyways, that's the end of the short history lesson. Now let's look at the ATC Centre and how it works. The first point of contact in the centre is the watch supervisor or station manager. The SM is responsible for ensuring that staffing matches demand and that demand matches capacity. The station manager and coordinator will work out a sectorisation plan, utilise information from the Eurocontrol Central Flow Management Unit, which, based upon the filed flight plan and the updated current flight plan when airborne, calculates the profile of each aircraft in Europe, when it will enter and exit each sector across every ATC centre, and in this way the occupancy of a sector can be determined. The station manager and coordinator will then, like doing a jigsaw, examine an array of sector combinations to find the multiple setups that will be used during the day to match the traffic demand. The interface with the oceanic airspace is crucial. Shanwick remains the only oceanic centre where an oceanic clearance must be obtained prior to entering the oceanic airspace. The oceanic clearance will specify a route, a speed, a flight level and an entry time. One very important point to remember is that when you are westbound and receive your oceanic clearance, you're still in domestic airspace, and receipt of the oceanic clearance is not a clearance to climb or descend to the oceanic level. Remain at your presently cleared level until advised. And we in Shannon will ensure that you attain the oceanic level prior to transfer. The oceanic entry time is sometimes accompanied by an interval with another aircraft, and Shannon will update that interval time dynamically. 25 minutes before the Shannon-Shanwick boundary, our system will transmit an updated time for each flight into Shanwick. If the time transmitted differs by 3 minutes or more from what you have notified to Shanwick, then a new updated clearance will be transmitted to you and sometimes may involve a new flight level. But we'll make sure to get you to it before any oceanic entry. Lateral spacing on the ocean is now 30 nautical miles, and the minimum time spacing on the ocean can be down to 3 minutes. Compare this to the 60 nautical miles lateral and 10 minutes longitudinal that applied when I started in ATC, and it shows how far the systems and equipment have evolved over the years. With traffic levels now being almost 10 times more than what they were when I started, it's interesting to see the upper flight levels being filled, even up to flight level 430, with Boeing 787s, A350s, A330neos and an array of biz jets, while the lower levels are being filled by an increasing amount of 737 MAX, A321neos, and so all flight level bands are being occupied. Of note in this situation is the huge percentage of aircraft which are two-engined and operating under the ETOPS arrangements. What has also evolved is the duration of flights. We work the New York to Singapore flights daily with an 18-hour 45-minute flight time. Flights of 15 hours are regular now, such as New York to Mumbai and Delhi, and LAX, Phoenix and Dallas direct to Doha and Abu Dhabi. When I joined, the 747SP was one of the few aircraft that could undertake West Coast USA to Europe flights. So, when you're entering Shannon airspace westbound, on first contact please report your cleared level and the passing level if you are transferred in the climb, as Mode Charlie verification is required when transferring from one centre to another. We have standing arrangements with London that at times they can go direct to the Oceanic Entry Points. However, this can put traffic into particular sectors earlier and for a longer period than would have been expected, and this could exceed the capacity, and so the busier it gets, the more we go back to standard. CPDLC at the western boundary can very regularly time out, probably because of the remoteness, and so most controllers will probably transfer you to Shamrock radio by voice as opposed to CPDLC. Coming off the ocean into Shannon's airspace eastbound, we receive an estimate from Shamrock at boundary minus 15 minutes. At boundary time minus 5 minutes, the Shamrock, or Echo Golf Golf X-ray system, will issue a new frequency and transfer you to the Shannon Echo India Sierra November system. When you log on to us at Shannon, a squawk will be issued, and it's usually around that point that the first call will be made. In the mid-western sections of the airspace, we usually have radar and VHF coverage out beyond 60 and west, but towards the Summit and Bedra areas, you'll be right on the coverage limits and sometimes may not get us until very close to those points. On first contact, please report your squawk and flight level, as we don't have Mode S and the associated flight ID throughout the entire airspace. Shannon will issue an eastbound clearance from the boundary point to the next significant point. We have standing arrangements with London for certain direct routes, so sometimes the next point can be over 300 miles ahead. Please do not turn before the boundary point. It will be classified as a deviation from ATC clearance and will need to be reported. The final area of operation in the centre is low level, which operates below flight level 245 and also provides flight information service in uncontrolled airspace. Frequencies are bandbox a lot of the time, which is why you'll often hear two voices from Shannon. The low executive controller looks after the IFR, and the low planning controller operates IFR as planner and provides flight information service when combined. The low-level pinch points will be around the Kilkenny area, where Dublin arrivals and departures mix with Shannon arrivals and departures, and also in the Ranagh area, as Dublin flights mix with the Ireland West flights, and Belfast departures that may be flight planned out via Dagos. In this video, we'll concentrate on Shannon High Level, which operates above flight level 245 in the original FIR and operates down to flight level 55 in the SOTA and NOTA areas, which were acquired in 1990 and 2004 respectively. Our work screens are 2K by 2K. Convert 2K by 2K to the 1080 by 1920 setup without losing clarity. I've had to cut the sector list and the card to the top of the screen. I also have a 1K by 1K screen alongside me, upon which I put my domestic sector inbound list and CPDLC log, as I like to keep my information to the bottom and keep the live traffic uncluttered above that. So let's take a look at the controller's working position. This sector is the radar or tactical controller screen at Shannon High Level. I have a communications panel on the desktop with direct dial, single button access to most agencies that I will require. I also have a backup radio panel, and in the event of a full system radar failure, I have a backup system. Information is available to us through a number of windows, some of which are mandatory and others of which are not. We do not operate with any physical or electronic flight strips, and all the information we require is on the label and our sector list. The sector list details call sign, entry time, sector entry flight level, sector entry point or sector, the SSR code, the FIR exit point, FIR exit time, the aircraft estimate for the FIR exit time, free text, Oceanic clearance, and within the Oceanic clearance we'll specify the Mach number, Oceanic flight level, NAT track or a hash for random track, Oceanic entry point, clear time over with a plus to indicate a time restriction or a not before time, or a not later than time. The Oceanic Clearance message, or OCM, on the label will indicate to us if there's a minimum time interval to be applied between aircraft, and we'll manage that in real time. The card indicates aircraft pairs in conflict, and on the vertical axis shows the estimated minimum separation in miles, and on the horizontal axis shows how many minutes until the conflict begins. And so in this snapshot, we have a predicted conflict between Chanix 153 Golf and United 18 with a calculated minimum separation of 6 miles starting in about 12 minutes. The card and other calculations within the system are augmented by the winds aloft being input and updated every 6 hours. The physical boundaries of my sector can be seen with the outline map, and personally I always select the map of Ireland, so I have a quick geographical reference available. Most controllers select the 1 minute or look ahead velocity line, but by personal choice and because I didn't grow up with it, I prefer no velocity line and will usually try and position the label data block in either the 7 o'clock or 4 o'clock position from the track. To me it looks like the wings of the aircraft and indicates the direction of travel. In the en route environment I do not select the aircraft type as a constant on, but it does show every time I move the mouse over the label. In the approach environment, or if I'm streaming traffic, I will keep the aircraft type and wake turbulence category on. My CPDLC messages are displayed to me on the side screen which I mentioned, but if there is a solid box around the call sign, this means that the aircraft is connected to us on CPDLC, and actions like frequency changes can be done at a single click on the next sector symbol. If there is a diamond ahead of the call sign, it means that the aircraft is on the FANS network, and if there is no diamond, then the aircraft is on ATN. In this instance, the position symbols are circular, which means that the interrogation and response is from a mode S radar head. The colour of each label has a different meaning. A white label is under control of this sector. Bright green will be entering this sector within the next 12 minutes. A rusty brown has been transferred from this sector to the next one within the last 7 minutes. Dull green means the aircraft will be entering this sector but is more than 12 minutes away. Plum means that the aircraft will not be entering this sector but will be adjacent to it. Dull grey means that the aircraft is unconcerned, i.e. not planned to enter this sector at all. If an aircraft enters my airspace when it's not planned to, an AIW alert will show. On the label itself, when unselected, shows the call sign, the next sector that the flight has been coordinated with. On line 2 is mode Charlie flight level, and if different, like on the ICER, is the cleared level with an up and down arrow, and the ground speed. The third line will show the abbreviated FIR exit point, and if it is an oceanic flight, the oceanic entry flight level, and a plus beside it means that there is a time restriction or interval. The routing or flight leg is updated upon initial contact. When the mouse moves onto the label, it expands somewhat to reveal the call sign, the coordination centre or sector, aircraft type and wake turbulence, the mode Charlie flight level, cleared flight level, ground speed, destination, and requested flight level. Line 3 shows the planned sector exit flight level, the full and abbreviated FIR point, and if oceanic, the oceanic entry flight level. Line 4 shows the assigned heading, speed, and rate of climb or descent. And line 5 shows the downlinked Mode S data of selected flight level, selected indicated airspeed, selected Mach number, selected heading, and the rate of climb or descent. If there is a discrepancy between the cleared flight level as input by the controller and the selected flight level as input by the pilot, then the selected flight level field will break through your display in the highlighted yellow colour. We're showing military activity up to flight level 180 over Ireland, and the sector maps and filters are about to be reapplied, and it is worth noting that we do not have a weather radar in our system. Finally, on the mapping is the Dublin control area, and to the southeast there's 2 blocks of airspace assigned to London Sector 8, in which London can climb Dublin departures in the first box to flight level 270 and in the second box to flight level 330 without coordinating with Shannon. And we do not enter these boxes without coordinating with London. Military activity to flight level 300 is shown in the Wales area, and traffic-wise, within the sector, from the west we're showing ICER 416 inbound Dublin via Olapo, passing flight level 308 for flight level 290, and working Scottish but about to be transferred to us. Shamrock 960 inbound to Dublin via Olapo, passing flight level 298 for flight level 210, at 521 knots, and the H symbol indicates that the aircraft is locked on a heading. Air Canada 867 is westbound at flight level 380, 442 knots, entering the ocean at Pickle, with the oceanic clearance at flight level 380. Air Transat 206 is inbound Manchester at flight level 350 with a capped level for handoff at Botham of flight level 270. American 717 is maintaining flight level 340 towards Dogal with a time restriction to cross Dogal at 1004 or later, and our system is calculating that the aircraft will be there at 10:07. United 973 is at flight level 320 and locked on a heading, and Air Canada 833 is behind the sector list maintaining flight level 340 towards Resno. Remember, the sector list has been pasted there, that's not where it normally would be. And east of Dublin, Virgin 74 Yankee has been handed off to Scottish Isle of Man sector, descending to flight level 270. The sector itself and the traffic levels are routine, and there is no major complexity, but it does demonstrate and give a useful insight into how the centre and our system works, and the tools that are available to us, and how, as controllers, we work to resolve any conflicts which may develop. My planner for this 2-hour session was Enda Sheehy, and although his voice is rarely heard, he was busy assessing the traffic before the aircraft entered the sector, and would work to resolve some conflicts well in advance through early direct routes, changes of levels, or turns onto particular headings. Because the Shannon frequencies are tracked, recorded, and already published on the internet by the likes of Live ATC, it was agreed that there was no GDPR issues in using the original frequency and voices. During the replay, I'll explain why certain things were done in a particular way, and at times we'll stop to show certain tools as they are being used, and I'll speed up the replay during the quiet periods.
Shannon 960, Shannon, resume on navigation direct to our Apple.
Direct to Apple, Shannon 960.
United 973, Shannon, resume on navigation direct to Bilto.
Thank you, direct to Bilto, United 973. Shannon, good day, ISU 416. Passing level 300, descending 290, inbound Nippet.
ISU 416, Shannon, good day, radar contact.
ISU 416.
ISU 416, Shannon, continue descent to flight level 230.
Continue descent at the 230, ISU 416.
It sounds at 206, Shannon, descent to flight level 330.
Descent 330, ISU 206.
Air Transat 206, inbound to Manchester, is descended to flight level 330 to position it below the Chanix 15 Juliet Golf, east of Bagso at flight level 340, and which will turn across the Transat in the Dublin area.
Omni 141, Shannon, recleared now direct to Revenue.
Direct to Revenue now for Omni 141.
Enda will also request London to put the Chanix to flight level 350, as that is the best level for the sector south to us. STCA activates between the Transat 206 and United 973. The system does not take account of the cleared level, and the STCA activates based upon the current trajectory of the aircraft and calculates if the trajectory continues as it is, that separation will be lost in 90 seconds. In this case, I open the labels of each aircraft to confirm that the selected level is downlinked by Mode S is as cleared and will provide separation.
Good morning, Swiss 80, heavy flight level 360.
Swiss 80, Shannon, hello, radar contact, and you cleared direct to Pickle.
Direct to Pickle,
Swiss 80 shows in the card in conflict with Air Canada 841, and I invoke the flight leg to have a quick look at the conflict area which shows in red. Enda has planned for the Swiss 80 to be climbed to flight level 380, the Oceanic entry level, to resolve this conflict. United 973's symbol is filled in, which indicates that the aircraft is outside the route adherence monitoring parameters. In this instance, it's because the planner has coordinated with Scottish to have the aircraft route directly to Bilto, which will take it away from the flight planned exchange point at Airnan. The Western sector now proposes flight level 350 to us on the American 208, inbound to Dublin, and as it is a green label, this is dealt with by Enda. The new proposal is indicated by the pink colour. MinSep is invoked between Air Transat 206 and Omni 141. This MinSep is based upon the current track and the ground speed and calculates where the minimum separation between the selected aircraft will be.
Shannon, Omni 141 has Oceanic.
Omni 141, Shannon, thank you. Maintain flight level 320.
320, Omni 141.
MinSep invoked between Delta 59 at flight level 320 and American 208 descending to flight level 350, but requiring further descent through the Delta for arrival into Dublin. Delta 59 requests climb to flight level 360 via CPDLC. This is shown by a blue box with the requested level and a plus or a minus to indicate the vertical direction.
Air Transat 206, Shannon, when ready, descend to flight level 270, be level by both of them.
When ready, 270 and level by both of them. Transat 206.
Clearance to climb to flight level 360 is issued on CPDLC via the label, and this enters the card and a pair of red dots appear to indicate the conflict.
Shannon American 208, flight level 380 for 350.
American 208, Shannon, good day, radar contact, continue descent to flight level 210.
Continue descent to flight level 210, American 208.
I changed the speed field of the Swiss 80 to the highlight colour yellow to remind me that I have some work to do with this aircraft at a later stage. You can also note that the Transat 206, who has a when ready descent clearance, has an infilled symbol and an L above the call sign to indicate a CLAM or cleared level adherence monitoring alert. This will disappear when the aircraft commences descent.
Air Transat 206, Shannon, contact Scottish 133.050.
133.050, Air Transat 206.
Swiss 80 via CPDLC requests climb to flight level 380, which is issued via the label. Also note the blind spot tool, which, in case you have a blind spot error, indicates levels that are occupied by aircraft in close proximity, in this case the Chanix at flight level 350. Flight level 355 is our vertical upper super split, which is why that also shows in the CFL menu. The yellow highlight colour on the Oceanic Cleared Time Over field in the sector list indicates that there's a discrepancy between the cleared time over issued by Shamwick and the estimated time calculated by our system. As stated earlier, at Oceanic Entry Point minus 25 minutes, our system will send an updated time to Shamwick. They reassess the aircraft's clearance based upon this and may have to implement a level change or implement a time restriction and will issue a new clearance. On the left side of the screen, we see Shamrock 952 entering the picture inbound for Dublin. And as there are a number of westbound items against this aircraft, ENDA has organised that the flight will enter our sector at flight level 330, placing it below most of the traffic. ENDA brings a potential conflict to my attention, and from the card, the flight legs of American 203 and Viking 818 are invoked. The card is calculating an 11-mile separation between these aircraft if they remain on the current flight plan routes. We normally, upon initial contact, issue a clearance towards or even to the Oceanic Entry Point. However, if I clear the Viking direct to Omoko, this will reduce the separation between the aircraft, and so the initial plan from ENDA will be to leave the aircraft on their routes and monitor the separation.
Shannon, good day, from 344 X-ray, maintaining flight level 400, direct, lead go.
France 344 X-ray, Shannon, hello, radar contact, clear direct to Pickle.
Direct to Pickle, from 344 X-ray. Shannon, hello, Speedbird 26 Victor, flight level 410.
This is Speedbird 26 Victor, Shannon, radar contact, direct to Boltham, no ATC speed restriction.
Direct Boltham and no speed, Speedbird 26 Victor.
AirCand A45 looks for a climb to flight level 360. This is proposed to the next sector and accepted by them. I then use the level band tool, which will display the flight leg of the aircraft invoked and only the other aircraft that are between the current flight level and the new exit level.
Shannon, good morning. It's the Shamrock 952 Heavy. We're level 330 requesting consent.
Shamrock 952, Shannon, good day, radar contact, and descend to flight level 210.
Descent, flight level 210, Shamrock 952. Shannon Delta 47, can we request flight level 370 for crossing?
Delta 47, Shannon, just stand by. We'll deal with the sector ahead.
Delta 47 at flight level 350, request climb to flight level 370, which shows 11 miles with the opposite direction Air France 25 Golf, and 5.7 miles with the beeline 1 Charlie Papa behind the flight level 360. I turned the beeline right by 7 degrees to speed up the cross, but with just over 5.5 miles and with a small loss of ground speed when the climb commences, I will not be starting this climb on the Delta until after the cross is complete.
Control, good morning, Lufthansa 416 Heavy, flight level 380.
Lufthansa 416, Shannon, good day, radar contact, and cleared Bagso. Next, Ernan.
Bagso, then Ernan, Lufthansa 416. Shannon, hello, Viking 818 Heavy, flight level 380, approaching NIMAT.
Viking 818, Shannon, good day, radar contact. Continue present heading to the FIS.
Present heading, Viking 818.
On the Viking 818, the label is behind the pasted sector list. It calls in at flight level 380, and a quick look at the MinSep indicates on the present tracks he'll go between the American 203 and the Lufthansa 416, both at flight level 380, and the flight is locked on the present heading. I invoke the flight legs to check what turns the Viking 818, American 203 and Lufthansa 416 will take on the flight plans.
Delta 47, Shannon, continue on your present heading and climb to flight level 370.
Okay, continue present heading, climb 370, Delta 47, thank you.
Delta 47 is cleared to flight level 370, and again the red blocks of the blind spot tool display in relation to the beeline 1 Charlie Papa. However, I am satisfied that I've taken cognizance of this flight. A TC alert also shows to indicate that the separation on these flights is below 6.2 nautical miles. I then check how a turn to Omoko on the Viking 818 will reduce the current 12 miles separation with the American 203 and measure where the new flight leg will be, and I predict I'll have 9 miles behind the American, and the Lufthansa 416 is not an issue at all as they'll be turning right at Bagso. American 203 is locked on the present heading and the Viking 818 is subsequently cleared directly to Omoko. An STCA occurs in London's airspace with traffic that is coordinated inbound to my sector at flight level 340 and London are descending a Ryanair above. Because the system state of the American 71 is coordinated, my STCA triggers even though the aircraft is still in London's airspace.
Viking 818, Shannon, resume on navigation, fly direct to Omoko.
Clear direct to Omoko, Viking 818.
Delta 47, Shannon, resume on navigation direct to Dogal.
Navigation to Dogal, Delta 47.
Oceanic 6 Tango Victor calls in towards NIMAT and reports the cleared level of flight level 340 and is requested to confirm the passing level. It's a requirement on first contact with Shannon Centre to report the current level for mode Charlie verification.
Shannon 6 Tango Victor, we're planning flight level C40 today, NIMAT.
Shannon 6 Tango Victor, Shannon, good day. Just confirm the passing level for me, please.
We are passing flight level 310, Shannon 6 Tango Victor.
Shannon 6 Tango Victor, Shannon, radar contact and cleared now direct to Omoko.
Direct to Omoko, Shannon 6 Tango Victor.
We can see the Shamrock 9 Charlie X-ray approaching the west coast, and this aircraft has already been dropped down from flight level 390 to flight level 350. Otherwise, the top of descent would have been around where the Shamrock would have been opposite direction to the beeline and the Lufthansa. The flight leg has the Shamrock turning left at revenue and shows plenty lateral separation with the Delta 93 near Ernan. I move over to tidy the labels of two Tomjets coming our way. The Manchester departure will be climbed to flight level 280 by the Scottish Isle of Man sector and is released to us passing Ramox. However, we may coordinate an earlier release with London Lake sectors if the aircraft is climbing particularly well. In this instance, Scottish have dealt with London and notified Enda that Tomjet 118 is coordinated to flight level 320. Blue World 8751 calls in near Nevry. One handy tool is that when we open the extended label, the decode for the operator's 3-letter designator is shown. This is very handy for airlines or charter companies that we come across only rarely.
Shannon, this is Blue World 8751, heavy, flight level 360.
Blue World 8751, Shannon, hello, radar contact, clear direct, dugout.
Alright, contact direct to Toggle, Blue World 8751.
Shamrock 9 Charlie X-ray reports turbulence in the descent. Remember, we don't have a weather radar and so cannot assist with navigation around build-ups. However, based upon turbulence reports we receive from aircraft, we will advise following aircraft of any turbulence that may be ahead.
Shannon 9 Charlie X-ray, just before we go, we experienced continuous turbulence between flight level 350 and flight level 300.
Okay, that's understood, and it's stopped now as you go lower?
Yeah, it's grand now actually. Just as we came through 300, it's moved out there, but 350 to 300 was continuous light turbulence, alright.
Okay, cheers.
See you later.
Delta 177, Shannon.
Go ahead.
Shamrock reporting the turbulence between 35 and 300 is just 30 miles to the north of you, so it's 300.
Alright, thanks for the heads up. Appreciate it, Delta 177.
Tomjet 118 is showing from a change of Oceanic Entry Point from that was filed and requested. Enda will take that in and update the route to reflect the new entry point.
Oceanic Control, Tomjet 636 Heavy, reaching flight level 360 back there.
Tomjet 636, Shannon, good day, radar contact, and clear Bagso to Dinham.
Back there, Dinham, Tomjet 636.
Shannon, hello, Delta 15 at 320.
Delta 15, Shannon, hello, radar contact, clear direct to Dugout.
Direct to Dugout, Delta 15.
Singapore 52 calls in reporting the passing in cleared levels. The STCA activates with Delta 15 above based upon the current trajectory. However, from the Mode S data, we can see that flight level 310 is the selected level on the Singapore flight deck, but as explained earlier, the STCA does not take account of the cleared level or the selected level.
Singapore 52, good morning. Passing flight level 300 for flight level 310.
Singapore 52, Shannon, good day, radar contact, maintain flight level 310 on reaching and cleared Bagso, next Resno.
Okay, so Baxo and next waypoint Resno, Singapore 52.
Shannon, hello, Delta 36, level 370.
Delta 36, Shannon, good day, radar contact, direct to both of them, no ATC speed restriction.
Direct to both. Delta, very decent.
Singapore 52, Shannon, what is your requested level at this time?
At this time, flight level 380, Singapore 52.
Singapore 52, copied. Maintain flight level 310. I got 2 items above you, and I'll have level change shortly.
Singapore 52, roger, aircraft in sight.
JetBlue 32, Shannon.
Go ahead.
JetBlue 32, have you put Oceanic Clearance on request?
No, for some reason we're having trouble. We keep putting the notification and try to join, to connect via CPDLC, and it just never connects. But we're trying.
Okay, suggest maybe do it by voice at this stage. 123.9050 on box 2.
All right, 123.950, thanks.
Lufthansa 462, Shannon, continue present heading to LaFize.
462, maintaining heading.
Singapore 52, Shannon, turn right, fly heading 2905.
Heading 2905, Singapore 52.
Preparation is ongoing for a resectorisation which will just expand our airspace. A QDM is put between the Singapore and Delta, which shows a bearing at 272 at 1.8 miles.
Delta 15, Shannon, continue present heading to LaFize.
Present heading, to LaFize, Delta 15.
Shannon, Air Canada 860, flight level 370.
Air Canada 860, Shannon, good day, radar contact. Direct to Liffey, no ATC speed restriction.
Direct to Liffey, no speed restriction for Air Canada 860.
Resectorisation happens and the altitude filter gets switched off, so we can see the aircraft below the filter until it's re-engaged.
Lufthansa 462, Shannon, fly heading 280.
462, heading 280.
Right on, Lufthansa 400, heavy level 340.
Lufthansa 400, Shannon, good day, radar contact, and cleared Bagso, next Itali.
Baxo, Itali, Lufthansa 400.
And Lufthansa 462, Shannon, fly heading 285 now.
Lufthansa 462, heading 285.
Shannon, good day, Virgin 75, Lima flight level 280, requesting climb flight level 390.
Virgin 75 Lima, Shannon, good day, radar contact, they've cleared Bagso, next Itari, standby for level change.
Cleared Bagso, next Atari, Virgin 75 Lima. We've got negative CPDLC at the moment with you.
Understood.
Virgin 75 Lima is client to flight level 330 as an early release is being coordinated by ENDA.
Virgin 75 Lima, Shannon, climb to flight level 330 to start.
Flight level 330, Virgin 75 Lima.
Singapore 52, Shannon, climb to flight level 360.
Set to climb flight level 360, Singapore 52.
Singapore 52 is cleared client to flight level 360 and showing 5.8 miles with the Delta. And the label now fills as current flight level 310, cleared flight level 360, planned exit level from our sector of flight level 380, and the oceanic level from Resno flight level 390. Again, the blind spot tool activates at flight level 320.
Another easy 530, level 310, direct delivery.
Easy 53, Hotel Yankee, Shannon, radar contact for ready for lower.
Okay, easy 530, thank you.
Singapore 52, Shannon, fly heading 290.
Left heading 290, Singapore 52.
The MinSep is invoked between the Singapore 52 and Air Canada 860, just as a reminder not to climb the Singapore above flight level 360.
Lufthansa 400, continue present heading to the 5.
Lufthansa 400 to continue on present heading to open up the lateral separation with Virgin.
400, present heading to the 5.
Green flight 935, Shannon, climb to flight level 360.
Climb to flight level 360, green flight 935.
Virgin 75 Lima, Shannon, climb to flight level 350.
Level 350, Virgin 75 Lima. Are you having issues with your CPDLC today?
No, you're the second one that said it coming out of Manchester, but no, it's everybody else is connected.
Roger, we'll try to reconnect, thank you.
The STCA activates between the Singapore and the Air Canada, and I check the Mode S selected levels. This feature is a great comfort and one of the best tools that we have.
Singapore 52, Shannon, climb to flight level 380.
Clear to climb flight level 380, Singapore 52.
Virgin 75 Lima, Shannon, maintain flight level 360 on reaching, got 1,000 above to go over the top.
Maintain 360, reaching Virgin 75 Lima.
Lufthansa 400, Shannon, resume on navigation direct to Tari.
Lufthansa 400, heavy direct, Italy, thank you.
Virgin 75 Lima, Shannon, also resume on navigation direct to Tari.
Oh, navigation direct, sorry, Virgin 75 Lima. Roger. Yeah, 947, flight level 340, so.
United 947, Shannon, good day, radar contact, and flight level 340, clear direct to Mallet.
Route direct to Mallet, United 947.
We assessed the conflict of American 195 and United 947 by using the flight legs. Also note that ENDA has a planned exit level of flight level 350 on the United 947, and I highlight the ground speed field as a reminder. The MinSep is open between the Itaro 650 and the Green Flight 935, which shows a 4.6 mile separation as the paths close. The speeds are adjusted on the aircraft to at least hold what we currently have and vector the traffic later if needs be. The speed adjustment in this instance will probably improve the cross.
Itaro 650, Shannon, report your Mach number.
581, Itaro 650.
Itaro 650, first spacing, speed Mach decimal 82 or greater until the 5.
Maintain 82, minimum Itaro 650.
Green flight 935, Shannon, speed Mach decimal 81 or less until the 5.
Speed not less than 81 or less, green flight 935.
Tomjet 102 is instructed to continue present heading, and this will open up the gap with the Lufthansa 3 Victor behind, who will turn right to Atari at Bagso.
Tomjet 102, Shannon, continue on your present heading to the 5.
Maintain present heading, Tomjet 102.
Good afternoon, Ocean 864, 364 with Mach 82.
Ocean 864, Shannon, good day, radar contact here. Bagso, next Resno.
Ocean 864 back to the Resno, Roger.
Tomjet 102, Shannon, climb initially to flight level at 350.
Climb flight level 350, Tomjet 102.
Tomjet 102 is climbed to flight level 380 with a QDM of 6.8 nautical miles, and the heading is adjusted towards Resno.
Tomjet 102, Shannon, climb to flight level 380.
Flight level 380, Tomjet 102.
Tomjet 102, Shannon, fly heading at 285.
Heading 285, Tomjet 102.
Tomjet 102. Shannon, continue climb to flight level 3900.
Flight level 3900, Tomjet 102.
Tomjet 102, resume on navigation direct to res now.
Navigation direct now, Tomjet 102.
Delta 87 and Virgin 105 Victors are speed controlled to ensure that the 8.5 mile separation in train remains, and the Virgin is climbed to flight level 360, which also eliminates a conflict with an Air Sweden inbound to Shannon via Ernan.
Delta 87, Shannon, I'm going to put another one at the same level behind you, so continue the speed Mach decimal 82 or greater now is assigned.
Alright, 82 or greater now, Delta 87.
Virgin 109 of Victor, Shannon, speed Mach decimal 81 or less, and climb to maintain flight level 360.
Let's do take level 360, decimal 81 or less. If you want to land it to.
Firm. You'll have another A330 ahead of you there by about 8.5, 9 miles.
Understood. I'll land it to. Shannon, good morning. Delta 107, level 360.
Delta 107, Shannon Control, good day to you. Identified, cleared direct to Atari, restrictions plus Atari, not before time 1217.
Alright, Delta 107, we're direct Atari and do not cross before 1217. Delta 107.
Okay.
Approaching 2 hours, the handover to the next controller starts for me, and Enda takes over the sector and will brief the oncoming controller as to what happened during the handover. We can see the new controller begin to set the screen as they like. 2 tools that were not demonstrated during this session was the lost list, whereby if an aircraft disappears off the screen, the time of disappearance and the lat long will be displayed. An augmentation of the MinSep has been the vertical MinSep, which shows what distance will be between the aircraft when the vertical conflict begins, and based upon the current rate of climb or descent, what a distance will be between the aircraft when the vertical conflict ceases. Of note, since this video was shot in October 2024, a concerted effort has been implemented to try and reduce the number of route deviations from ATC clearances, especially eastbound off the ocean. And so each aircraft, if it is still west of a boundary point, will be issued with a from-to clearance, i.e. aircraft 101 Shannon, radar contact, cleared from Mallet to Evran. And please, don't turn before the boundary point. Other aircraft will be cleared to their next significant point, followed by the word direct. For example, on transfer from London, aircraft 102 Shannon, cleared Mallet direct. I hope that this video has provided pilots, controllers and enthusiasts with an overview of the equipment and tools that we use. It's a highly reliable system, and this video may also help controllers from other countries that do not yet have such equipment and tools to campaign to have them installed. A final point that I'll make is for US flights, especially BizJet's flights arriving into Ireland. Please remember that we use the QNH Hectopascals. The potential for controlled flight into terrain, if say QNH Inches is selected instead of QNH Hectopascals, is hugely increased and was demonstrated in the previous episode. To try and eliminate such errors, our controllers will always issue QNH in 4-digit format, always include the word hectopascal, insist on the word hectopascal being included in the readback, and will monitor the descent of each aircraft, and if they suspect that the incorrect QNH has been set, will challenge the crew and if necessary break off the approach. And finally, I'd like to thank AirNav Ireland for permitting access to the centre and to the equipment to demonstrate how we manage the aircraft traffic flows and the airspace throughout the day. If you enjoyed this video, please like and please subscribe to the channel.